Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Football Today on this Tuesday night. I'm Adam Azer with Tara Roberts here. Thank you for joining us, Tara. Always good to have you on. What's going on?
It's a night stream, so I like those. I've been told I get a little bit spicier as the day goes on. So yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we do get we get weirder as the day goes on.
Yes.
And we hope bring the weird for the audience members out there. Bring the weird. We would keep it weird. Yeah, sure. I hope you all voted today. Hope you're back from voting. So we have like a nice full house tonight. We'll get the question as the questions come in. We will answer them. First thing I want to talk to you about though is the Pittsburgh Steelers backfield with Mike Tomlin giving a little bit of leeway to Jaylen Warren coming in and getting a bigger role and not really saying yes or no to whether or not he could just be the number one running back. So should Jaylen Warren, as we review our waiver claims, should Jaylen Warren be the number one waiver wire priority?
So I don't know if I would do number one just because I know, I guess it depends on how, deep or shallow your league is. If like Jeff Wilson's there, I obviously want Jeff Wilson before that. But yeah, comments are making Jaylen Warren kind of jump up there. It's a because we haven't seen a lot of upside out of that backfield in general. We know the offense is a mess. We know the offensive line is a mess. We know that Kenny Pickett is still working through things and they're going to be playing from behind a lot. But Warren has looked better than Najee. So, there's, a chance that he gives a higher output, higher upside.
Yeah, he's looked a lot better. Actually, he's only had 29 carries, so it's really not much. He beat up a little bit on Cleveland, and we know they have one of the worst run defenses. I'm actually just searching right now because I made my waiver claims earlier today. Oh, I found a league where Jaylen Warren is available. Oh, my God. All right, I'm going to put in a claim for Jaylen Warren there. Let me go through the numbers here. So advanced stats among running backs with 25 or more carries, there are 64 running backs with 25 or more carries. Jaylen Warren is number one in rush EPA, expected points added, number one in avoid rate as calculated by True Media, sixth in success rate calculated by True Media. I have no idea what that means, but it's good. 13th in yards per carry, 7th in yards before contact per carry, 18th in yards after contact per carry, 11th in percentage of carries of 5 or more yards, 6th in percentage of carries of 12 or more yards. I mean, it is really great stuff, and he completely blows away Najee Harris. They just invested a first-round pick in Najee Harris, so it would be pretty. It would really be something if they benched him, but that's not going to happen immediately. But it's interesting. I think at the very least he should be the number one running back added.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, over like Jordan. Well, no, Jeff Wilson I would add ahead.
Jeff Wilson,
but yeah. he's pretty rostered. So we'll see. We'll see. You guys have any questions? All right, Jacob Glazer's here as always. Appreciate you. He's got a question for us. Tua.
Yeah, I love Freiermuth, but you gotta. I don't have a good feeling about the Josh Allen situation, so you gotta jump while you can.
Yeah, and with Tua, I don't know how you feel about this. I was talking about trading Justin Fields, and I kind of felt like you don't have to trade. If you have two great quarterbacks, you don't have to give one of them up. I don't know how you feel about that. I could definitely see trying to upgrade one of your other positions, but there aren't that many teams that have a good quarterback. So you can keep that positional advantage. So even if I had Josh Allen, and even if he were healthy, I would still prioritize Tua over Freiermuth because Tua is, to me, one of the true difference makers in fantasy right now.
Yeah. The only place that I wouldn't do so in a super shallow league, a 10-team league, you've got a lot of options. Maybe you've got guys like Kirk Cousins that are on waivers, so it's not super deep. That's the only time where I'm typically not going to, I have a hard and steady rule that, hey, I'm not going to carry two quarterbacks unless I've got two guys that have extreme upside. But in a 12-team league, for sure, at this point, you probably would be a good idea if you can grab some of those fantastic high upside players that have these great matchups. Because there's a few, Fields has fantastic matchups all the way up through his bye week. So you can legitimately start him here over guys that are a little bit safer. I'm starting him over a guy like Dak in a league. So yeah, rostered two quarterbacks if you have to in deeper leagues.
All right, the grade the trade in a dynasty league. Give Justin Jefferson for Mark Andrews and the letter M.
I wonder what the letter M was.
I have no idea. Oh, Michael Pittman. Justin Jefferson, Andrews, and Pittman. I thought this was like a
dynasty. I missed the dynasty part of it.
Yeah, that's an interesting trade.
Hmm. I don't mind that in Dynasty because Mark Andrews gives you such an incredible. When Mark Andrews is healthy, he's right up there with Travis Kelce, and he's a whole lot younger. So I mean, yeah, I'm not opposed to that one right there.
I have Tony Pollard. Is he worth playing in a non-PPR league over Christian Kirk and Leonard Fournette? So we don't know yet who's going to play. We know Pollard's going to play. We don't know if Zeke is going to play, but he's Jerry Jones expressed some optimism about it. So in a non-PPR league, would you start Pollard against the Packers over Christian Kirk against the Chiefs and Leonard Fournette against they're in Germany. Who the heck are they playing? I'm sorry.
Denver, right?
No,
Yeah.
Denver's not in Europe again, are they? Seattle. Sorry.
Seattle. Sorry. What is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Had wrong Russ team on my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, Russ
Yeah,
is there.
I've done that a number of times this year.
I'm okay with doing it over Fournette. Fournette, I mean, honestly, they're struggling so much. And, Seattle, for what it's worth, they've been a little bit, they've been increasing and been a little bit stronger on defense. And I wouldn't do it over Christian Kirk just because I feel pretty positive about Kirk this week. But Pollard over Fournette is one that I can do. Now I get the feeling that we're not being duped on the fact that Zeke will be back this week, but I think we're looking at more of a split backfield, and the upside is just so much higher with Pollard, and the matchup is just obviously fantastic.
This is from Vin. Should I look to be moving on from Aaron Jones and the Packers, and who should I be targeting?
Give Aaron Jones one more week because again, with these ankles, you're getting kind of like a 50-50 mixed bag here where some of these guys are coming back from the ankles, no problems. And you have other guys where they're like, oh, it's not an issue. He could have returned, he could have played this week, and then they go and miss 1, 2, 3 weeks. So I would hold off a little bit on Aaron Jones if you can. Just because, again, as that wide receiver core starts to dwindle out, we've got Romeo Doubs that's going to be missing now significant time. A healthy Aaron Jones is still going to be a significant target hog in this offense. So I'm not 100% moving on from Aaron Jones right now just because you don't want to sell him super low.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't move on from Allen Lazard either. He's been such a red zone magnet. Anything else? Yeah. If you want to sell AJ Dillon right now, maybe, yeah. Other than that, I'm okay with sticking around with Aaron Jones for a little bit just to see.
All right, Tara, are you a pet person?
I am. I do like pets. I'm a dog person. I'm not much of a cat person.
Okay, so I know how you're going to vote here. So our YouTube poll today, which is the superior pet? Cats, dogs, or any kind of reptile? So dogs is going to get 60% of the vote at least. I'm going to vote for cats. Right now, it's 66% dogs, 24% cats, any kind of reptile, 10%. Aren't you tired of walking your dog? It's so annoying. Walking. You probably don't have super cold weather, but
No, yeah. Well, the hot weather is kind of a pain as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun either. You got to take a shower every time you come in to walk the dog. It's ridiculous, Like, get a cat. Cats are great. Love my cat.
Cats kind of terrify me, though, a little bit.
They're fine. They're harmless. They're only harmless because they're small. They would kill you if they were bigger, but they can't, they're too small. Anyway, that was an easy one. 64% of the people are wrong in saying dogs, but I do love dogs. Don't get me wrong. All right, here's Andy. Would you trade Waddle and Miles Sanders for Saquon Barkley in full PPR?
I would not do that. I mean, you are upgrading significantly with Saquon Barkley over Miles Sanders, but the upside for Waddle is so high, and the remaining schedule for Miles Sanders is good. So, Sanders is pretty steady. I think I would stick. I would stick with that one unless you're having significant RB trouble.
I'm sorry. I think a lot of people would take Barkley, but I would stick with Waddle and Sanders too. I would. Barkley's been very good, but I just want to take a look at the game log here because he hasn't been otherworldly. He hasn't been doing what Austin Eckler's been doing. He hasn't been doing what Josh Jacobs did for that 3 stretch, right? What Derrick Henry's done. His last 5 games, he's been under 20 fantasy points in PPR, and he's been over 15 in all 5 of them. He's been a first-round pick. And week 1, he had 33.4 fantasy points. He had 6 catches, but that's really been the anomaly, the outlier. for Saquon Barkley. So he's been really good. This is not me trashing Barkley. His next 2 games are Houston and Detroit. Those are 2 of the very best matchups. But Waddle is borderline first round caliber right now. Miles Sanders is must start. I wouldn't do it. Plus, I just have this fear that the Giants defense is going to get a lot worse in the second half. Losing Xavier McKinney to me is a big deal. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I would not do that trade. But I think a lot of people would. But Tara and I say no. Tua or Fields rest of season.
Tua rest of season. Fields rest of next 3 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember who I asked this to. I think it was Monday. I think it was yesterday on Beyond the Box Score. I was talking to Dan and Jacob. Like, do matchups even matter for Justin Fields? Because he crushed the Cowboys 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I did just make a bold prediction that he would finish as the top 5 quarterback. So maybe I ought to reverse that thought process. But Tua is the more stable option. You're taking a little bit of a risk if you want to go with Justin Fields for after his bye week. But he's still very useful.
I mean, look, I would go with Tua because Fields is throwing for like 150 yards on average over the last 2 weeks. I think he's been over 200 once. So he basically has to be Lamar Jackson in terms of efficiency and rushing totals. And the rushing totals, like he's not going to rush for 170 yards, but he might rush for 60 per game, might rush for 90 per game. It wouldn't shock me because he was kind of on pace for like 1,000 rushing yards in his best stretch last year. So I know the rushing totals will be there, but I'm not convinced on anything in the passing game. Tara, quarterback is like Josh Allen pending injury, Mahomes, Hurts. And then after that, like, how do you rank Lamar Jackson, Tua, Fields, Herbert, Kyler? Who's next after the top 3?
Yeah, see, and that's why I feel like Fields can sneak in there because we've got Lamar Jackson, who's just kind of been reeling lately. Now, granted, he's bounced back a little bit, but I mean, without the weapons, we don't 100% know with Mark Andrews. We've got a bye week right now as well. So it gets super shaky after you get out of those top 3, but it's still Lamar for me. And then I would prioritize probably Kyler, Justin Fields, and Tua. But they're all interchangeable at that point for me.
Schultz or Everett standard scoring?
I would go with Everett this week.
Okay. Deontay Johnson or Devontae Smith standard? Oh, same guy. You got tough lineup decisions.
Go with the upside of Devontae.
He's due, right? He's facing Washington. He's due. Cats are far superior. Yeah. I don't even agree with that. I don't think they're far superior, but slightly superior. Would you drop Deion Jackson and speculate on Jaylen Warren? That's a great question.
I don't hate that. Because you don't have a giant guarantee with Deion Jackson either in terms of his usage as an RB1 moving forward. And then we've got the whole, giant issue of their team as a whole. There might not be a lot of upside there for him. We know with Ellinger at quarterback, there's that lack of pass catching upside for the running backs as well. So yeah, I don't mind that. If you don't need Deion Jackson in your lineup right now, if Jonathan Taylor is out, then yeah, I would go ahead and make that move for a higher upside play.
Okay, now I did not see any news on this from Mateo. Why did the Saints add more running backs? Is Kamara getting suspended? Did they add more running backs? I didn't even see that.
They did, but I don't think that coincided with the little video clip. I think that coincided more so with Mark Ingram.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what to tell you about. Well, what do you got there, Schaefer?
They added Derek Gore. He played with Kansas City last year, so
okay. He doesn't have a handcuff right now, and there's not going to be a good running back in that backfield unless it's Mark Ingram when he comes back from injury in a few weeks, and he's not on IR, so you have to keep him on your bench. And we don't know that he's getting suspended, but if you want to, somebody asked me if he should trade Kamara for Travis Etienne. And I think that's fine. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Etienne were better. A little bit in PPR would surprise me, but I think that's fine if you want to try to cover your bases just in case.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Would you drop Tate? Yeah, I would drop in PPR. Yeah, I mean, like Taysom Hill gets you 1 catch if you're lucky. So
yeah, he's a giant upside play that can get you absolutely nothing. So yeah, I like what we're seeing from Otten. I think he's going to retain that position even when Cameron Brate comes back.
so?
Honestly,
All right. Tara was quite concerned about the Jeff Wilson addition for Raheem Mostert. She sounded the alarms, and it was very well said before the fact. Looks good now. All right, give us a DST here. We got the Raiders, the Seahawks, or the Steelers. Las Vegas against the Colts, so that's excellent. Steelers maybe getting TJ Watt back against the Saints. And what was it? The Seahawks? They're in London facing the Bucks. Or no, they're in Munich facing the Bucks.
I mean, if you want to go with the high upside play, Vegas. I know they've been an awful defense, but I mean, quite frankly, there's just so much going on over there in Indianapolis that doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I would honestly do Vegas.
Yeah, TJ Watt is such a big deal. They had 7 sacks in week 1 when he played.
You're such a different defense with him. It's crazy.
Yeah, really is. Would you drop Josh Reynolds for Chris Moore rest of season? No. No, but I'd drop him for Nico Collins if Nico Collins is available.
That's true.
Oh, look at this. Mateo, his middle name is Adam.
Nice.
Yeah, that is great. I like it. I don't really like my name, Tara. Very boring. It's literally the least original name out there. I would have gone with something else if it were me.
Mine's pretty boring too. It's just spelled differently, which is, mildly annoying. But
oh, that makes it original. That makes it great.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Who would you prioritize, Jerry Jeudy or Rondale Moore?
Jerry Jeudy. I know people don't like. I've been, fighting the good fight for Greg Dulcich because people just don't like pass catchers for the Denver Broncos. But I would still go with Jerry Jeudy.
Okay, I have Mark. You drop Noah fans here. I got to start reading questions from other people. Would you drop Everett? We got to get more people represented here. Drop Everett for Dulcich.
That's tough. I love Greg Dulcich, but it's tough to drop Everett considering the situation that they have over there with the Chargers, especially in full PPR.
Okay. Will Deshaun Watson come back as his? Oh, this is a great question. What do you think Deshaun Watson comes back as?
He might have to knock some rust off. But the good news is that he has to knock the rust off against, a fairly easy entry-level matchup. Now, granted, there'll be obviously emotions involved, but yeah, if you've got him, if you've been stashing him, I would honestly roll him out that initial game against Houston.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when you think about all the quarterbacks who changed teams and how much they've struggled for the most part or had a coaching change. Obviously Wilson comes to mind and Carson Wentz was terrible. There were a lot. I don't know why I'm blanking so much on this. I guess you can't say that for Tua. He really benefited from the coaching change. Kirk Cousins hasn't been bad, but I mean, statistically, he's having one of his worst years. I mean, yards, all the efficiency metrics are way down. There were some others. Matt Ryan. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it could take time. It could take time.
Yeah, it's such a strange situation too because he's not coming back from injury. He's coming back from and it's such a massive time gap as well because he sat.
Right, it's almost 2
years. You're trusting that that you've kept in tip-top football shape and you're ready to go right off the bat here.
Which DST do you like better, rest of season, the Chiefs or the Broncos?
Ooh, I honestly would have to. I mean, in general, I'm going to say Broncos, but honestly, let me verify the Chiefs schedule real quick.
I'm just gonna go with the Broncos.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what's great about the Chiefs DST.
Oh, I can see why. It's the playoff schedule. Denver, Houston, Seattle.
Oh, that's nice. Well, Seattle's not a good matchup, but that Denver, Houston, that's good.
Denver, Houston, Seattle, Denver. But yeah. Yeah. I would still stick with Denver. Again, just based off just general performance. But that's not a bad playoff schedule.
You don't have to make a rest of season DST call. Like unless you're in an 18 team league, you don't have to do that. Jordan's on Team Reptile. Better than dogs and cats? Like, what kind of reptile? An iguana? Is that
Snake.
a snake? God, never. In a million years, never would I own a snake. Oh God. If my kids wanted a snake, I would say out of the house. Like, no chance. You'll leave too. All right, start one in full PPR. One of the Bears guys or Jeff Wilson?
Ooh.
Detroit. Miami has Cleveland. Both have great matchups.
Yeah, those are great matchups. I will still lean towards Montgomery,
Yeah.
but Jeff Wilson, that's it. That's tough.
Would you play any of the waiver wire guys over Deontay Johnson this week in PPR?
Yeah. Even if you're not dropping him, yeah, I would. He's not a must start at this point.
So we're talking about Darnell Mooney, Terrace Marshall,
Mecole Hardman, is that
Mecole Hardman? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I personally in PPR would stick with Deontay Johnson. He has 5 or more catches in all but one game. And this is the first game without Chase Claypool. So I don't think that makes him more likely to score a touchdown because he never does that. But, a few extra targets. Could have his best game in terms of yards. I don't know. So I'd stick. I don't know. I like all those wide receivers to start, but not over Deontay Johnson for me.
Marshall's the only one I wouldn't.
Who were the other guys we're talking about? I didn't even remember the waiver wire wide receivers. Like, I wouldn't start Darius Slayton or Wan'Dale Robinson over him.
No.
So Hardman, you would?
Yeah, I would do Hardman.
Okay, let's see. Our waiver wire wide receivers were Darnell Mooney, Mecole Hardman, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I wouldn't do that.
No.
Terrace Marshall, no. Michael Gallup, no. Those Giants guys. Now, if you're talking shallower leagues and you got Josh Palmer, you could do that. Rondale Moore. But I think try to, in full PPR, he's a number 3 receiver, I'd say. Deontay Johnson. Yeah. Would you drop A.J. Dillon for Darnell Mooney?
Not right now. Just
not
because.
Not the right time.
Yeah, it's not the right time with Aaron Jones. You would hate to drop him and then all of a sudden he's out for the season.
Right. Let's see what happens there. But, how much of a must add do you consider Darnell Mooney to be in general?
So again, I kind of go back to this is a fantastic period over the next several weeks for them. And I do think that it benefits Mooney. And I'm starting to think that the presence of Claypool is something that's also helping him. We saw good games from Mooney when Allen Robinson was out in that short period last year. But when he was on the field, that seemed to kind of be a benefit for him in terms of someone drawing attention away to open up space for him. So I don't hate the direction that it's going here. I feel pretty comfortable with him.
Okay. All right. I just wish that they had more passing volume and more passing yards. It's really hard. How can you be a must-start wide receiver if your team is going to be probably last in the NFL in passing yards? Maybe the Giants and the Bears are going to fight for it. You have to be a complete target hog, which he has been. But Claypool, I look at it the other way. I think Claypool hurts him. They just would have to start throwing more. And I'm not sure what more means. You know what? It's kind of like Drake London, where he looked like a must-have, looked like a must-start for a while, and he's faded quite a bit. So I'm gonna fade Mooney a little bit here. I certainly wouldn't drop Dillon, neither would you. But all right, Wilson. Yep, Wilson. Yeah, he could definitely do that. Garrett, Wilson, or Darnell Mooney?
Ooh. We've seen that the pass volume is increasing pretty greatly there for the Jets without Breece Hall.
Yeah.
And I know people want to see more to kind of justify it, but if you're sitting here making a waiver wire choice, honestly, I think the upside is there with Garrett Wilson. I think it's possible that the volume sticks for the Jets, and he's obviously the wide receiver 1. We do have Corey Davis that's going to come back and throw a little wrench in things at some point, but without Breece Hall, this is just gelling very well.
What was this question here? Tara, we know Adam eats the wrong parts of Oreos. So this isn't. I eat both parts. What's your absolute favorite thing to eat?
Oh man. I'm a sushi girl. Yeah. Mhm. It's my
Okay.
favorite thing to eat in the world.
What roll? Or whatever.
Oh, anything really. I love smoked salmon's my favorite. Anything that's fried, tempura. Yeah. Mm, creative stuff. Anything as long as it's fried.
So I had a very disappointing food moment tonight. I made a pizza for the family. We buy the dough, but I put everything, I do everything else. Like I make mushrooms, broccoli, put the sauce, the cheese on, I bake a pizza. I made it for everyone. And my son said he wanted leftovers. We had Greek last night. He said, I want Greek food. I'm like, I made pizza for you. He's like, he's like, I don't want it. I want you to buy me pizza. So now he does not want the pizza that I make for him. I've been making it for like 2 or 3 years now, and he's always had it. But he seems to eat less and less every time, and now he just basically told me flat out he does not like my pizza. He only wants me to buy it. So that was kind of a tough one.
I identify with that so much.
Oh, really? I don't eat your cooking either?
Not at all. And you know what's messed up? Because my second favorite food is pasta. So I love cooking all kinds of different pastas. And the problem is I'm the only one that will eat it because they just want, like, if I make some nice bolognese or something like that, apparently that's disgusting. And my son just wants ragu. So it hurts the heart.
That does hurt. We're all about Rayos in this house. You ever eat Rayos?
I have, yes.
Awesome. I mean, it's top 9. It's so good. Would you drop Deion Jackson for Chuba Hubbard?
Yes, I would do that.
Would you trade Gabe Davis and Josh Palmer for Ramondre Stevenson? Yeah.
That's Gabe. That's yeah. I mean, it's a hey, it's a high asking price because of the upside for him. But yeah, I would do that. I trust Stevenson's role in this offense moving forward.
Is there a Davis I'm not thinking of?
Corey, but that's a weird combination to do with Corey Davis for Palmer.
Yeah, and then just another thing is, if you want Ramondre Stevenson, if you want Lamar Jackson, if you want anyone who's on a bye this week, you look at Mixon, Burrow, whatever. You look at that manager, and what's that manager's record? How desperate are they? That's how Heath got Christian McCaffrey for me, even though I'm the one who made the trade. I still defend the trade. I needed to win the week. I gave him Christian McCaffrey. He was 8-0. I was 3-5. So find a manager who's 3-6 or 4-5, needs a win, has Ramondre Stevenson, and see if you can make a good deal that benefits you rest of season. Anything
if
with
it makes you feel any better, I traded away Saquon in Dynasty, so my heart's hurt.
You know what? I thought I did fine with the trader. People are killing me for it. That's fine. Anything with tuna, I don't know if this is in response to favorite thing to eat. I like tuna.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a sushi thing? Is that a
spice?
Yeah, I don't do sushi.
Spicy tuna.
Let's see. Can we verify if this is true? Did Stefan Diggs just tweet that? Rejoice. And is it big enough for us to be excited about Josh Allen? That'd be nice.
I want to see that.
All right. I have Ertz and Schultz. Otten and Njoku are on waivers. Which two rest of season?
Oh, I would still go with Ertz and Njoku.
I would go with you would go with Ertz over Schultz. I would go with Schultz and Njoku.
That one's super close for me. It's for sure between those two with Njoku, but I don't know. It's tough for me to trust Schultz in terms it's very, very solid. Don't get me wrong. But I do wonder as that offense gets a little healthier and they kind of focus more on the run and go back to that, if maybe they kind of limit passing as they're moving on down the line with both Pollard and Zeke. That's my only concern.
Yeah, they are doing that for sure.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, Siri. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Mark wants to know who to flex this week. Josh Palmer. I'm not ready for this. I am not ready for this. Gabe Davis stands out if Josh Allen's healthy, but I'm not ready for week 10 starter sit just yet. All right, here's a trade. Jonathan Taylor Yeah, Deion Sanders. Jonathan Taylor and Devontae Smith for Swift and Higgins.
I would do that.
Yeah. You want the Swift? Sorry.
I mean, honestly, the injury trustworthiness between JT and Swift, very even. So,
all right. Would you trade Amon-Ra St. Brown or Christian Kirk and Raheem Mostert for Sutton and Pierce in half PPR?
if Mostert is your RB2 and you're concerned about this situation with Jeff Wilson, yes, but I would make it Christian Kirk and not Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I would do that. Kirk and Mostert. I think you have to feel decent about your wide receivers.
Yeah.
Because Sutton's a little scary right now. But yeah, I think getting Pierce in the half PPR league is pretty huge. Who would you pick up, Mooney, Tony, or Beckham?
Mooney.
Where are my dogs at? Which should I try and get first on waivers, Mooney or Hardman?
Ooh, that is a good question. I would still go with Mooney, just in terms of the positioning in the offense, in the wide receiver core for him. Juju is still the guy over Hardman. I trust Hardman's. He's been very steady. I trust Hardman in that sense, but I would still lean towards going with Mooney.
Someone said they just dropped Gabe Davis. Why would you drop Gabe Davis? Don't do that.
No.
You don't know anything about Josh Allen, do you? Victor says, why is this cats versus dogs even a real question? They did do a movie of all dogs go to heaven. That's true.
That's true.
Definitely did not do that for cats. I don't know. This is a Schaefer one. How much fab on Hardman and James Robinson? I'm riddled by injuries.
I would not do a ton on James Robinson. But I could do anywhere from 5 to 10 on Hardman. Maybe about same range for James Robinson, honestly.
I was offered Deebo Samuel for Miles Sanders in half PPR. What are your thoughts?
If you're running back needy, do it. I'd prefer Deebo, but if you're running back needy.
Oh no, he'd be getting Deebo, I think.
Oh, he'd be getting Deebo. Oh yeah.
I would rather have Miles Sanders, I think. Yeah, I'm not super thrilled with Deebo. Just now with McCaffrey in the mix,
mouths to feed. Yeah.
4 mouths to feed on a run first team. And he hasn't really been that good. Honestly, all right, it's half PPR. I would think Miles Sanders is not that this should be the determining factor here, but I want to see who's outscoring him. Miles Sanders in half PPR is averaging 13.8 points per game. Deebo Samuel is averaging 12.4. Again, that doesn't mean it'll be that way going forward, but I'd keep Sanders. Would you start Olave or Lazard as a non-PPR flex?
Non-PPR, I would definitely do Lazard.
Okay. I would probably go Olave. I don't know. Lazard scores so many touchdowns.
He does.
He's a reptile. This is the reptile I would want to have. Lizard, but Alan Lizard would be the reptile for me. Would you trade away Cooper Kupp for Kamara and Godwin?
Your wide receivers are Adams and Hopkins. I might take that risk for Kamara.
I don't know.
It's risky. It's risky.
It is.
You're a risk taker. It's a fine value. It's just how risky you want to be.
Right. I can't give up Kupp for someone who might get suspended. That would just be so devastating. Godwin is a big X factor here. If he could turn things around, it'd be a good trade. Who are we dropping here? Everett, Freiermuth, or Schultz?
Man, take me back to the Everett or Schultz situation. I guess I reverse. Go ahead and drop Everett.
All right, this one I can't answer. This is for Thursday night against the Falcons. Who are you flexing, DJ Moore or Deontay Foreman?
It is literally a question of, do you genuinely think that Foreman can repeat that 3-touchdown game? I'm flexing DJ Moore. PJ Walker at quarterback. I trust it a little bit more, the attention that he gives to DJ Moore. It's a good matchup. I don't see anything indicating that AJ Terrell is going to be back. So I think it repeats there.
All right, let's Schaefer, let's get a new poll up. I think you can do better. You should never have a poll where it's almost 70% choosing one thing. Like that's not good enough. Like you could do better than that. You could make it about football, I suppose. Why don't you, I don't know. What should we do for fantasy football? How about Barkley versus Swift? No, nobody's gonna take Swift. Swift versus Fournette versus one more running back in that range. Who do you think? Swift, Fournette,
versus...
or
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan, yeah, there you go. Swift, Fournette, Jonathan Taylor, rest of season. Okay, let's see what people have to say. Please vote on YouTube. Hit like on YouTube. How many likes do we have? Oh, jeez. People, come on. It's Tuesday night. We're up. We're answering your questions. The least you could do is hit like for us. And I think there's something weird going on here with YouTube. 1 second. Because it's still, when I was looking at the stream, it still had a question displayed from like 30 minutes ago. Okay, there we go. 84 likes. Come on, let's at least get to 200 likes tonight, people. There are enough of you in here for us to get to 200 likes. And yeah, let's make that happen. Would you trade Swift and Sutton for Amon-Ra St. Brown in full PPR?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm okay with doing that.
Out of Kyron Williams, Jalen Warren, and Rachaad White, who should I aim to pick up as a bench stash? Now I'm going to go with Jalen Warren.
Yeah, I would go with Warren. Then I would go with Rachaad. And then I would go with Kyron.
Okay. Yep, that's exactly what I would do. Oh, do you prefer when the top teams overall get into the playoffs or the top teams in each division do? Is this an NFL question or is this a fantasy question?
It's a fantasy question.
What's your playoff?
I prefer overall, just because there's literally no way. It's so random. At least in the NFL, like there's some kind of parity in terms of, but it's just random. You can literally get one side stacked with a whole bunch of 6-3 teams, and then other side stacked with ones with losing records. So I prefer the overall.
I started doing 2 divisions of 6 teams, basically. From the 110 team league I'm the commissioner of, there's no divisions. Top 4 teams make the playoffs. 2 divisions of actually I have a 14 team league. So 6, 7 teams, whatever it may be. Division winners get in. Next 4 best records get in. But if you lead the league in points, you are guaranteed to get in. If for some chance you led the league in points, but your record stunk, and you didn't get a top 6 seed in terms of record, you get the 6th seed. But I think that's so rare that the points leader wouldn't make the playoffs. And I know it happens, but it's pretty rare. So somebody suggested you do the 6th seed is just the highest points getter after the top 5 records. So I think that's probably better. And I might
nice combination there.
I guess I would do 2 division winners get in. Next 3 best records, and then the 6th seed is highest points. That's a good way to do it.
Makes sense.
All right. Need some help. I have Taysom Hill and Tyler Higbee. Should I try to get Njoku and Madison for Gabe Davis? No, no way.
I would not do that. It's possible that things turn around for Higbee. And this is a good match. Like, this is a good week for you to gauge. This is a good matchup for him. Let's see if this right here. Yeah,
he's just not running routes anymore. He's barely running routes. I don't know why. I don't know why they decided to do that. It seemed like as soon as Van Jefferson came back, Higbee stopped running routes. But to give up, Njoku's been great. I've been thrilled with how good he's been. I can't say he's going to get 70 yards every week. He barely ever scores. Maybe that changes with Watson. He's good. but I can't give up Gabe Davis, who has weak winning potential. And I can't give up Alexander Madison as the Dalvin Cook manager. It's just, you could be kicking yourself for that trade for Njoku.
Yeah.
If that were, obviously you can't get Andrews or Kelsey for Gabe Davis and Madison. Who else? I mean, Kittle maybe. And I don't think there's a tight end that you could get for Davis and Madison that I would do, other than, of course, the two guys that you can't get.
Yeah.
Who's the number 3 tight end this year?
The number 3 tight end would be.
Oh, it's
that's a good question.
I would do it for Goddard.
Goddard, yeah.
What about him? All right. Is it time to drop Fournette? No, it's not.
Nope.
I don't know how you feel about him. I put out a couple of buy low offers. I had a feeling they would both get rejected. The first one was Cortland Sutton for Leonard Fournette. That was instantly rejected. Then I went Keenan Allen for Leonard Fournette. That was rejected a couple of hours later. So at least he was thinking about it a little bit. And now I might come back with Lazard for Fournette, because I actually have some wide receiver depth. I need a running back. But, how do you feel about Fournette right now?
I genuinely don't understand what Tampa Bay is doing. There should just be more volume for him. And the only thing that I get concerned about is that it's not a cakewalk of a schedule by any means moving forward. So he lacks upside. He lacks so much upside. So I don't know if I'm trading for him and taking that chance that things are going to turn around, given the situation and how there's very little likelihood that things are going to turn around. But he's not someone that I'm dropping or even benching right now. He's still worthy of a flex.
All right, that's Leonard Fournette we're talking about here. We got about 15 minutes left. Please hit the like button. Let's check in on the likes. 112, that's not good enough. All right, so let's vote in the poll. Who would you rather have rest of season, Swift, Fournette, and Taylor? This is freaking impossible. I'm actually going to go with the guy who's going to finish in last. I'm going to go with Fournette. Oh, he's not last. I went with Fournette just because of the health. Swift is 1, Fournette is 2, and Taylor is a fairly distant third at only 21%.
That makes sense. I am on the Swift side.
You're on the Swift side?
Yes.
I don't even like answering questions about DeAndre Swift because it's completely out of our control. We have absolutely no idea, right? I mean, how do you answer questions about a guy where we don't know if he's ever going to get healthy? And the one thing I do know is that he's not going to get the goal line work, which
and that's the only caveat. But he can have low-end wide receiver or running back 1 upside, even without the goal line touches, if they involve him in the pass game more. I mean, when we look back at what he did last year, the comparison in terms of even on a limited basis right now, even at a 50% snap count, the targets just aren't really adding up for me in terms of where they should be. Now, TJ Hawkinson not there, injuries, no DJ Chark, Josh Reynolds up and down. It's strange that there's not more involvement in the pass game when we see how dynamic he can be.
Would you trade Christian Kirk for Kareem Hunt? Hell no.
No, I would not do that.
That
would have been a pre-trade deadline speculation trade.
Yeah. That Dolphins logo is really popping, isn't it? I mean, that is bright. You can just hear the Dolphins theme, fight song as you look at that logo. That is quite in your face. Would you trade for Aaron Jones? Would you give up DeAndre Swift for Aaron Jones? I'd rather have Jones.
It's risky, but yeah, I would rather have Jones.
Jones was coming off 2 great games in a row. I don't know what the heck happened with him. Even the amount of time he did play against Detroit, he should have done better. That was very disappointing. And I was also pretty upset that A.J. Dillon was getting work near the goal line and not Aaron Jones. Because you know what? They've had so little of that throughout the year that we don't even know who their goal line back is. They've had so few carries there. And last week it was kind of Dillon.
Some odd coaching decisions going over there in Green Bay. When Aaron Rodgers speaks out and says we need to do this and they follow it, it works well from a fantasy perspective. So maybe we just need him to get out there and toot the horn for Aaron Jones one more time.
Does he go on the Pat McAfee show? Did he do that yet?
I don't know. Is that a Wednesday thing? Maybe
I don't mean I have no idea, but I would love to. He better criticize himself because he He stunk last week, you know? He's got no problem throwing everybody else under the bus, but he better step up. The interceptions were really bad.
Yeah.
Who would have thought throwing a pass to David Bakhtiari in the end zone could be a bad idea? Would you give up Swift for Waller? And Justin Herbert and Mostert?
Waller, Herbert, and Mostert. I mean, it's quite the haul. I mean,
yeah, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot going on there.
Yeah, you do. If you're really needy for a quarterback, I guess it could be a lot of like shiny objects for that actually jump. I don't know. Pick up Mecole Hardman or Terrace Marshall for my flex this week.
I prefer Hardman.
Okay. Should I drop Gano or Gino or Herb? Oh, I would drop Gino.
I am on the drop Gino side. I know people are very partial to him, but the upside of Fields is so high. It's not a knock on Gino.
Yeah, but you could drop Justin Herbert. The tough call for me was Herbert or Gino, not Fields. I definitely want to pick up Fields, but yeah, I'm not going to drop Herbert. I don't know. Would you start the 49ers DST this week? They have the Chargers on Sunday night. It'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I still would.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of offensive line injuries and not expecting Keenan Allen at this point, not expecting Mike Williams. All right, we need one in half PPR. Mooney, Pittman, or Tony?
My heart wants to say Pittman, but just do Mooney. That the Pittman thing is frightening. Unfortunately, I have a lot of Pittman. That's such a sad situation.
All right, Austin Eckler. Would you trade Eckler for Jacobs and Higgins in PPR?
I would not.
Okay,
I would stick with Eckler.
Let's see. Would you did that one? Do you start Terry McLaurin against the Eagles or Khalil Herbert against the Lions?
He was all right earlier in the season against the Eagles. So
he did. I think he had a huge play with Darius Slay off the field, but I believe he went over 100 yards.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yardage good. Targets were good. No touchdown.
McLaurin. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
What are you getting from Khalil Herbert? You need him to make a big play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 9 targets, 6 catches, 102 yards. I'm pretty sure they got drubbed in that game. Carson Wentz was the quarterback. I'll see if they can keep it somewhat close. All right. Let's check up on the poll here. Who would you rather have rest of season? Swift, Fournette, or Taylor? Taylor doing even worse. So let me get rid of this question here. Swift is at 46%. Leonard Fournette is at 35%. And Jonathan Taylor is at 19%.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Is the health situation worse for Swift or Fournette or Taylor right now? Like, I know Taylor's not playing, but who do you consider to be more of an injury risk going forward?
I do not feel that if Swift's injury is steady, I don't feel that Detroit will shut him down at any point. It's very possible that Indianapolis just says, and shuts him down. So yeah, it's riskier with Jonathan Taylor, and the upside is so limited, unfortunately. I don't see where that offense is successful enough to get him the amount of usage on the ground and the yardage that he needs to have that upside.
All right, who's the better tight end for week 10 and rest of season? Is it Everett against the Niners, Njoku against the Dolphins, Schultz against the Packers, or Dulcich against the Titans? I'm just going to go Schultz. Like, that's I just like Schultz a lot. You know, he's been pretty rock solid every game he's played with Dak. Njoku's really interesting because Dolphins stink right now against everybody. But I'm just going to go Schultz. I liked him. I loved him preseason, so that's partially why for me.
I see. So week 10, I would go with Everett again. But the rest of season, honestly, I think kind of Njoku is very intriguing rest of season.
Okay. Should I trade my Jonathan Taylor and CeeDee Lamb for Joe Mixon and Michael Pittman? I don't think I'm doing that.
Oh, no. No, I would not. Oh, that's tough. You're literally exact opposite. The wide receiver upside is so high with CD, and the running back upside is so high with Mixon. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Look, I'm not expecting much from Michael Pittman rest of season.
Yeah.
I'm just, borderline number 2, number 3 receiver, Taylor, obviously his value is so low right now. Nobody seems to want him. But what if he comes back this week? What if they give him 17 carries or something like that? I would stick with the Taylor side, but these are tough. I mean, go with your gut. I really don't. I can't tell you with certainty what's going to happen, obviously. So it's tough. Week 10, Josh Palmer or Rondale Moore?
Palmer for me.
I declined this trade. DJ Moore and Cordero Patterson for Damian. Yeah, I would not have given up Pierce for that. Would you?
I would not. I love what we saw out of Patterson. Even with the involvement of Tyler Algier, they are so aggressive on the ground. It doesn't matter.
Oh, God, we have so many tight end questions. How about ranking these guys rest of season? Ingram, Njoku, Otten, Komet.
Rest of season. Njoku.
Yeah, I'd go Njoku, Ingram, Otten, Komet.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've got Brady, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, Stevenson, McCaffrey. Wow. DJ Moore. I'm guessing DJ Moore, maybe Rondale Moore, Chris Godwin, Davis, Sutton. Yeah, you got to trade a running back. You have to.
Yeah.
I don't know who to trade. I would trade Pierce, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one that I would.
It's PPR. I would trade Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you pick up Kate Otten or Cole Kmet? Oh, it's a picture of me, my younger version of. I think that was me in college in that avatar.
There we go.
Yeah, you recognize me. Yeah, I let it slip a little bit, since I had kids, but that's what I used to look like.
Grew the hair out. Yeah.
Yeah. I pick up. Who'd you pick up?
I prefer Otten just a teeny tiny bit.
Yeah, look, Komet's coming on. He's got 3 touchdowns the last 2 games, but like I said, there's just so little pass volume. It's really dangerous to get excited about an offense that's going to be, like I said, last or second to last in the NFL in passing yards, most likely. And it's kind of why I'm not all that in on Wan'Dale Robinson or Darius Slayton, especially with Galladay coming back and maybe taking a little bit of production. There's just not enough of the pie to slice around. Olave or CeeDee Lamb rest of season?
CeeDee Lamb. I love Olave, but just the upside is so limited with Andy Dalton.
Oh, I know. Please, let's get Jameis back there.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore.
Yes.
I got a lot of Olave.
Me too.
Yeah,
it was the right call.
It was. I think I have him in 3 leagues now, and we need a little Jameis in our lives for Olave's purposes. Should I trade AJ Dillon to the Aaron Jones manager for Garrett Wilson? And who's M Sam? Sometimes I see these and I should I know who that is? Shafy T, should I know who M Sam is? He doesn't know.
M Sam.
Miles Sanders.
Oh my!
That would make sense.
Well, that can't be. That's the worst trade of all time. Like, it'd be great for you, but who would give up Wilson and Sanders for AJ Dillon?
I don't know. A lot of people aren't believing in Garrett Wilson. I've seen a lot of it's just been 2 weeks comments, and that they've just Zach Wilson awful. It can't be. This is a mirage. So possibly, I can see where someone would think that.
Okay. I guess I would keep Dillon. if you're getting just Wilson. All right, so we saw this tweet that said Jaylen Warren was going to start week 10. We felt like it was more of an opinion. And based on the comments from Mike Tomlin, he 100% did not say that Jaylen Warren was going to start this week. He did not say that he wasn't going to become the starter, basically. So basically, the way you can tell me if you're interpreting it differently, the job might be up for grabs a little bit now. You should get Jaylen Warren if you can, but do not expect him to be the starter. That is absolutely like Jaylen Warren's season. I appreciate you spelling out season instead of putting SZN. I appreciate that, but I would not assume that it is Jaylen Warren's season just yet. But you definitely should pick him up if he should. We didn't talk about him this morning really a little bit, but I think he could clearly be the number one waiver wire priority for you right now. It's a good guy to speculate on. Is that kind of where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Getting called out here by the Ritz Crackers guy. Tara used to love Kmet. Now that Fields is doing stuff, why doesn't she love him again? Why, Tara? Why?
I do love him a little bit more. I did a little waiver. So of the tight ends that I'm looking at on waivers, I'm sorry, I've been obsessed with Dulcich. Now, granted, I was in on Dulcich, so you are correct. I do love me some Cole Kmet and have always loved me some Cole Kmet, but Dulcich, and then I do think that who was the second one that
Otten,
who was the second? Otten, Joku. There's someone else too that is
1 second.
Shoot, who's the other one? I like Kmet. I do. He's like the third option for me. So 100% if you're grabbing him. Maybe it was Otten.
Once we have our Njoku, Dulcich, Otten, Kmet, Noah Fant, and then in the shallower leagues, Schultz and Freiermuth.
So I was not including Njoku off of availability, but I like Kmet. I do. I like how he's coming on. I just like guys like Dulcich a little bit more.
Okay. Would you
but
start?
You're right. I was a severe Cole Kmet truther in the offseason.
Would you start Jeff Wilson over Khalil Herbert this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's ride a little Jeff Wilson momentum, I guess.
Yes.
Is Odell Beckham a good pickup?
He's not the worst pickup in the world. The timelines and the information in terms of exactly when he's going to be ready jumps back and forth so much that you don't go aggressively in and spend everything hoping and you end up not being able to actually utilize him. Because remember, there is going to be like a little bit of a ramp up time period. So this is more of a playoff scenario kind of situation. So he's a good pickup, but don't go all in trying to get him.
Yeah, someone said buy low on Najee Harris, and that would be do not buy low. Yeah, this is don't buy low on Najee Harris. It's not looking good right now for him.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do one more question here. Would you stash Kyron Williams or Deion Jackson or both, or drop one for a handcuff like Warren or Hilliard?
I would drop for a handcuff. I do like Hilliard a lot as somebody who I trust. I trust Derrick Henry's health, but I mean, we've seen the level to which they are committed to the run. So if anything happens and Hilliard gets that opportunity, I mean, we're looking at Donta Foreman 2.0 with pass catching upside. So yeah, I would prefer Warren and Hilliard for sure.
Okay. And the Kyron Williams thing, it was great to be able to say to stash him because he had an IR spot and whatever, but I just can't really see a big role for him personally. He's a third down back, and they never throw to their running backs, and they have Henderson, and they have Akers. So, I think he's pretty droppable. All right, Tara, thank you very much. Hooray for dogs. They won the poll. Hooray for DeAndre Swift. Hooray for Schaefer. He came up with a better poll, even though we came up with it for him. That's okay. We're a team here. Thank you all very much for joining us. Let's check the final like tally. 144. Hit like on the way out, people. Help us out here. Let's get to 200. All right, that's it for us. Talk to you tomorrow with a little more fantasy Jeopardy and with some trade talk, of course. It's the Wednesday show, so some trade talk. We'll talk to you then on Fantasy Football Today.